What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to talk about a UFC 287 bout, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly. All right, guys, getting right into it. We got Jorge Masvidal taking on Gilbert Burns, UFC 287 Miami. In a pretty exciting welterweight matchup, you got Gilbert Burns coming off of a finish victory over Neil Magny. I think it was UFC 283. He had the loss to Khamzat Chimaev in a very, very, very close fight where a lot of people thought Gilbert Burns won. Super close fight. Either way, either guy could have got the victory. He had the win over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in a very, very, very smart fight that he did. A very smart game plan that he had against Wonderboy where he just utilized his wrestling, made it a very boring fight for the fans, but did what he had to do to get past Wonderboy. He had that fight against Usman for the title where he knocked down Usman early. He had Usman really hurt, but then he just kind of gassed out, and that was it for him. But his run at welterweight since his time at lightweight has just been phenomenal. He has gone through murderer's row, fighting guys like OAM, Gunnar Nelson, Damian Maia, Tyron Woodley. I mean, he has fought murderer's row at welterweight to get where he is today. And this fight against Jorge Masvidal, it's kind of weird that like this fight hasn't happened already. Like it almost feels like this fight has been kind of like destined to happen. Where George, yeah, he's lost 3 in a row. The fights against Colby, the fights against Usman. I mean, the shine is kind of dimmed a little bit on Masvidal. I haven't really seen a fan base turn against somebody so quickly like they have against George. Like, because when he was knocking out Darren Till, Askren, Nate Diaz, he was like UFC god level. And then out of nowhere, like his losses to Usman, like everybody's just like, like fuck Masvidal. Which is kind of weird to me. Like, after he attacked Colby Covington, like the whole fan base like turned against him. But it's like, that's exactly who he said he was before. Like, he's the guy who's going to go out there and sucker punch people. He doesn't care in or out of the octagon, you know? And, like, I still think that, like, I wasn't surprised when that happened. It seemed like a lot of people were extremely surprised when they found out that he went out there and sucker punched Colby. I wasn't shocked at all. But in this fight, you know, you have George. He's lost 3 in a row. 2 guys who are very similar style in Gilbert Burns. And I think Gilbert is going to have a very smart game plan against George where he's going to utilize his wrestling, get George against the cage to open up his striking later on to start landing bombs on George. And I think that's where George is going to struggle. Jorge always just seems to just be flat in the wrestling department. I think that's going to, you know, I think that's why I just don't like this matchup here because I think the same thing is going to happen to him like in the Usman fight and in the Colby fight where if he doesn't catch these guys coming in, he's just going to be held down. He's going to get controlled or it's going to open up the big shots later on in the fight. So I don't think age is going to play much of a factor because I think Gilbert's 36. He's starting to get up there. George, he's 38. He's starting to get up there. But so I really don't think age is going to play a factor in this fight. But I think Gilbert, his ability to change levels is going to make George guess a lot. And it's going to make George freeze up a lot, which is going to open up those power shots. And I think that's where Gilbert is going to find a lot of success in this fight. George is going to have to just be smart, keep the distance, utilize his boxing and just catch Gilbert coming in. I mean, that's probably going to be his best bet because I really just don't expect Gilbert to go out there, stand and trade with him. You know, and I think that this, you know, is just another, you know, I mean, if George cannot figure out his wrestling all this time before, I don't think he's going to figure it out now. And if Gilbert sticks to a game plan, a smart game plan, it's going to be a bad and long night for George. Hopefully he can catch him coming in because I'd like to see him get back in the win column. No offense to Gilbert. I'm a big fan of Gilbert Burns, but I'm a much bigger fan of Masvidal. But, I mean, this is like a brain versus my heart type fight where it's like my brain is like, of course, Gilbert Burns is going to get the victory here. But my heart is like, man, fuck. Why did George have to take this fight? Because I want him to get the victory here. But if I'm a betting man, I would take Gilbert Burns. I think that his wrestling, his ability to just switch it up is just going to be too much for George. Guys, let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this matchup. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts because this is a pretty awesome fight. This is going to be it should be a fun fight for the fans, but it could end up being a very boring, long 3-round fight. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Guys, that's going to be it for today. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.